This is trial and error. I'm actually so nervous right now. Okay. I'm filming this the night before my dive. And I gotta sleep. Hello, good morning. Right now, I'm preparing to go to Scuba. Paling support ko yun. We're here. Abot namin sa isla Malapascua, and you can see the clear waters behind me. Hello. We're on our way to TSD right now. Yes. Hi, Tita. Okay? I don't know to.
You want to go on? Yeah?
Yes, I want to go.
Welcome.
I just want to let you know that unfortunately, I didn't get to do the Q&A on the spot because we were running late and we immediately hopped into the training as soon as we got there. And also, since you won't be able to hear me due to the fact that the boat engines were loud, I decided to do a voiceover instead. Okay, so here it goes. I'm about to answer 4 questions from Facebook and 4 from Instagram. And the first question goes, aren't you scared of getting leg cramps when diving? This is actually one of the things I sometimes worry about even if we train for this during my confined water sessions. Getting leg cramps when diving can make your dive less fun, or worse, it can potentially bring your dive to an end, which is technically a buzzkiller, but I just make sure to do some countermeasures like stretching in the morning with a little bit of exercise, drinking lots of water, like lots of it, and eating nutritious foods. Believe it or not, I had my last sip of soda about 2 years ago and I'm never drinking one ever again. I also make sure I have a daily fruit and vegetable intake and some multivitamins, of course. For the second question, any tips for those who want to try scuba diving, like where do we start? Scuba diving is fun, but I recommend to do some research and educate yourselves about it before fully going hands-on. After doing so, you can always look for your nearest dive school and contact them for some additional information, the cost of courses, and of course, as your number one concern in choosing a dive school should be, is safety. You can then choose between different scuba diving agencies such as PADI, SSI, and many more, but in my case, I chose PADI since it is well known to be a top organization to acquire certification in. If you are still unsure about enrolling for a scuba certification course, you can always try out the Discover Scuba Diving program, which lets you experience scuba diving without committing to a full course. For the third question, required pa rin bang mag-equalize pag nag-scuba? The short answer to this is yes. In fact, you have to equalize every few feet before you feel discomfort in your ears. The important thing you have to remember is to do it early and often. So the fourth question goes, how much ang session? I took the PADI Open Water Diver course at a dive school in Malapascua and it costs around 17K, but it still depends on what dive school you're planning to enroll in. For the fifth question, what do you plan to do after acquiring your first certification in scuba? Well, I hope I would be able to start my advanced open water diver course very soon, but as of now, I decided to focus back to my studies since I am transferring to a new university as a sophomore. But I plan to indulge in some fun dives at Malapascua with TSD, of course, as often as I can. Moving on to the sixth question. Any thoughts about the underwater world? Gosh, I think it's impossible to wrap it all up in one sentence, but I'll start with the fact that the overall weightlessness or working below the surface of the water in neutrally buoyant conditions you experience during scuba diving makes you feel like you're in space where there's only microgravity. Diving also helps us discover more of what the beauty of this planet has to offer.
Okay?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Alright, cool. From this?
There has been a saying that 70% of the world consists of water. So why explore only 30? I've also been falling in love with the idea of seeing aquatic animals that I've never seen before, which happens to just swim right before my irritated eyes. And not to mention that, for me, it is without a doubt the most peaceful place to be, where you don't have to necessarily focus about anything else but the present moment. It's amazing. For the 7th question, what's the hardest part of your scuba training? I think the hardest part of my training was getting used to the heavy equipment, new sensations, awkward movements, wearing the wetsuit which is basically so fit that it got me feeling like I'm Black Widow at some point. But that one time where I had to swim like 300 meters was also pretty exhausting, I swear. And finally, the last question. Have you ever felt scared prior to your first dive? No, actually it's the opposite. I was extremely excited. I have been longing to check this part of my bucket list in trying to make it to space. I really don't know where I got this from, and not to brag, but I can tell that I have this daring spirit of adventure. The idea of participating in exciting undertakings for me is pretty much what makes life more fulfilling and worth living.
Compass in the boya. Compass. Surface.
Hello, I just finished my PADI open water diver course, and we're about to go home. Home, as in home.